Okay, so good morning to all the students. So it's 9 a.m. now, so let's start the session. So welcome back and welcome to join this Malaysia Culture Sharing Batik and Traditional Costume presented by Puan Nur Tanato Amira binti Azizan and Puan Nur Farahan binti Bahari. Both of them are assistant lecturer from Department of Soft Skill Competency from University Tunku Rahman. Okay, so before we proceed to start the session, there will be a few announcements that I'd like to make. Okay, so first, please mute your microphone throughout the whole session. And then second, your attendance will be recorded once you join the session and your SSTC point will be issued to those who really attended the session. This is for the UTAR student. Okay, so and then there is no sign in and sign out form. And then please complete the evaluation form on the last day after the closing ceremony. The link will be announced after the closing ceremony. Okay, and then you are required to turn on your camera for the group photo at the end of the session. Okay, so now without further ado, let's pass the session to Puan Farah and also Puan Amira.
Good morning, everyone. I hope that all of you are fine and feel healthy in this Sunday morning. Okay, I am Miss Nur Farahi, and I will be accompanied by my colleague today, Miss Nur Zanatul, for the virtual mobility program, medical culture and soft skills learning. Okay, between Wenzhou Medical University, China, and University Tunku Abdul Rahman, Malaysia. Okay, so welcome to students from both university. Okay, so for this session, we will have 1 hour. Okay, and I will be in charge of the introduction to Batik, and my colleague will be in charge of the traditional costume of Malaysia. Okay, so for this session, we will have the introduction to Malaysian culture, in which I think this is the only session for this mobility program that will introduce Malaysian culture to all of you. Okay, maybe this Malaysian culture, it will be new to Wenzhou Medical University student and maybe to our UTAR student as well. Okay, so I hope that today's session will be beneficial for both side of university. All right, so if you have any question after the session, you can you are welcome to chat or read or put in something in the chat for the question to be asked. Okay, so for the first part, I will take charge, okay, in which I will take charge of the introduction to Malaysian Batik, okay, and we are the representative from Department of Soft Skill Competency, UTAR, Malaysia. All right, so we will go one by one about what is Batik. Okay, so what is actually Batik? Maybe some of you may think that, oh, what is actually Batik? Okay, is it something related to culture or is it something related to the costume? Okay, so we will go deeper what is actually Batik in Malaysia. Okay, so basically Batik is a form of art, okay, which is very popular in Malaysia. Okay, despite of ethnic and religious belief, everyone know Batik. Okay, so basically batik is a cloth that is traditionally made using a manual manual wax resist dyeing technique. Okay, usually for batik it is just a piece of white cloth, okay, in which usually we will use wax in order to draw on it, and then we will use dye in order to color the batik, and then we will wash the cloth in boiled water so that we can remove the wax, and then the color will be permanently there on the piece of cloth. Okay, so this kind of art on the piece of cloth is what we call batik. All right, so the word batik come from it is known to come from the word ambatik, okay, which means that it is a cloth with little dots with a suffix tik, meaning that it's little dot, drop point, or to make dots. Okay, T here means that a little dot. Okay, previously, years before, people used to draw batik, okay, by using dots. Okay, little dots, and then they combine to each other to form a certain pattern on the piece of cloth. Okay, and then it is also known, the batik come from the word treaty, okay, which is a Javanese word, okay, which means that it is a resist process for dyeing where the patterns are reserved on the textile by tying and sewing areas prior to drying. Okay, so basically these two words may be derived in order to come with the word batik. Okay, so it cover mostly on the process of making batik. Okay, in which the process of making batik, it is quite unique and quite tedious process. Okay, after this I will explain to you what is the procedure of making batik. Okay, why I said it is tedious, why I said it is a difficult approach. Okay, I will explain to you later. And then the piece of clothes, usually we will use the common fabric, which is silk and cotton. Okay, and then the price for each batik cloth usually depend on the type of fabric, and then the kind of craftsmanship, okay, in which what kind of pattern that we draw on the cloth, and then it is also depend on the how delicate the pattern is. Okay, so it will define how much the batik cloth is. Okay, meaning that if the batik made from silk cloth, then it will about 300 Malaysian ringgit and above. Okay, so for cotton it is more cheap. It is cheaper compared to the silk. Okay, however, these two fabric are the most famous clothing for batik painting. Right? So let's go. Why I said batik is unique? Okay, maybe some of you might be wondering why this miss keep mentioning that batik is so unique. It is just the common cloth. Actually, it is not just a common cloth. Okay, if you can see my background now, okay, this is actually batik. Okay, so if you can see the pattern and the design, it is including the fauna, the flowers, the leaf. Okay, so and then it's not only the pattern is unique, it is also the process of making batik, it is also unique. Okay, so let's go. Why it is so unique? Because it's undergo the delicate and repeated process of waxing, dyeing, and boiling. Okay, so it is a very tedious process, like I said before. Okay, in which before you proceed with the coloring, you need to draw first. Okay, you need to draw first on the piece of cloth. Okay, in which the cloth you need to string it. Okay, you need to put the frame on it so that it is string enough. Okay, and then you will draw on the piece of cloth. Okay, and then usually people will make the draft first, okay, using the pencil. Okay, they will just draw using pencil, and then they will use chanting. Okay, in which it looks like the pencil, however the ink is made from melted wax. Okay, and then they will outline the draft that they draw before using the pencil. Okay, and then after that they will color. Okay, so the wax function here in order to make sure that the color will not go to the other part of the cloth. Okay, for example, if you draw flowers, okay, and then you use chanting in order to draw the wax. Okay, so if you want to make the color of the flower red, so the wax will prevent the red color to go to the other part. Okay, it will just stay on the pattern, the flower pattern. All right, so that is the function of wax. After waxing, they will dye, they will color the pattern. Okay, and then after the drying, the dyeing process, they will dry it. Okay, and then they will boil the cloth. Okay, they will boil it for I think a few minutes only, so that they can remove the wax from the cloth. Okay, so the boiling process, it is just to remove the wax from the cloth, and then after that they will dry it again, so that the cloth is completely dry. All right. Basically, most of the dye used in batik, it is come from natural resources. Okay, so basically they are natural resources. So after they boil, usually they will dip the cloth into the ingredient to make sure that the color will not go away, because it is the color come from the natural resources, so it is easily be removed. So after the boiling, then they will dip the cloth into the another one ingredient to make sure that the color lasts long. All right. So wax works as a color blocker in the coloring process, meaning that the wax will prevent the color that you use to go to the other side of the cloth. Okay, and then there are also some sub processes, meaning that this is not only the procedure of making batik. There are also small processes that involve in order to make batik. Okay, in which you need to prepare the cloth. Okay, it depends what kind of fabric you want to use. You can use cotton or silk, and then silk also they have different types of silk. Okay, and people also can use other material. Okay, however, the cloth material will be decided on their price. Okay, the more less quality the fabric is, okay, it is more cheaper. Okay, it is cheaper compared to the expensive kind of fabric. Okay, and then the second one, usually the maker will trace the design. Okay, usually they will use pencil in order to draw the draft, okay, on the piece of cloth. Okay, before they stretch the cloth on the frame. Okay, so in order to do batik, they have the frame in order to stretch the cloth. Okay, and then put it into the frame so that it is like stretched enough for us to draw and color the piece of cloth. Okay, and then next, they wax the area of the cloth that does not need dyeing. Okay, so some batik, they want to make sure that they are just white in color. Okay, so they dye the whole area so that when they boil the cloth, the area that they wax will stay in white color. Okay, and then the next step, you need to prepare the dye. Okay, which most of the industry, batik industry in Malaysia, they use the natural dye. Okay, meaning that they use the ingredient from our environment. Okay, a leaf or flowers. Okay, in order to prepare the dye, and then they dip the cloth in the dye. Okay, sometimes they just color the clothes using the brush. Okay, for smaller pattern, and then after that they will boil the cloth to remove the wax, as long as waxing the cloth in soap. Okay, and then actually after they remove the wax, okay, they will wash it using the soap as well. Okay, to remove the excess color from the cloth. All right. So that is why batik is very unique. Okay, basically a lot of foreigners come to Malaysia in order to see batik themselves. Okay, and batik in Malaysia, okay, basically it is different from other part of the country. Okay, later on I will discuss how different it is from the other countries. Actually, batik is not only exists in Malaysia, it also exists in other parts of the world. Okay, and I will show you later how Malaysian batik is unique compared to the others. All right, so we will go into the history of batik. Actually, where batik come from? Okay, and then this is some belief in which it is said it has been found 2,000 years ago in Middle East. Okay, so meaning that in other part of the world, the batik already exists. Okay, and then it has also been found in Egypt, Peru, Japan, East Turkestan, Europe, India, and China, which is the Central Asia. Okay, meaning that this country, batik has been founded before. Okay, and then how it is now in Malaysia. Okay, because usually after this kind of batik found in this country 2000 years ago, it reached its highest artistic expression in Southeast Asia. Okay, meaning that batik is has been practiced until nowadays in usually in Southeast Asia country, usually in Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay, and then it makes its debut in Europe when the Dutch who colonized Java, Indonesia in the 17th century. Okay, meaning that after it has been famous in Southeast Asia, okay, and then when the Dutch colonized the Indonesia, they bring the arts into the Europe market. Okay, so that it is has been introduced to Europe market. Okay, so if you can see down here, it is actually the example of Indonesian batik. Okay, so this is Indonesian batik. Okay, if you can see, there are fish patterns. Okay, one the blue fish, and then yeah, all the fishes in blue in color. Okay, so this is the example of Javanese batik. Okay, the next, I will introduce to you briefly about Malaysian batik. Okay, how is it different from Javanese batik? Okay, usually if you compare between Malaysian batik and Javanese batik, basically Javanese batik it is more famous compared to Malaysian batik. Okay, however, I will show you how unique Malaysian batik is. Okay, compared to the others. Okay, basically, Malaysian batik has been found in the east coast of Malaysia, which include Kelantan State, Terengganu State, and Pahang State. Okay, these three states are the states that has been located east coast of Malaysia. Okay, while batik in Johor shows the Javanese and Sumatran influences. Okay, in Johor as well, it is the southern side of Malaysia. It has these Javanese and Sumatran influences. I'm not so sure why. Maybe because of some of the history of Johor State, okay, in which they have some influence in from Indonesia. Okay, and Malaysian batik usually we have the motif of plants and flower only. Okay, if you refer to the previous example, Javanese batik that I showed you before, you can see the fish pattern in the batik, right? However, for Malaysian batik, we only use plants and flowers motif. Okay, and then for Javanese batik, usually they will include both, okay, flora and fauna, which mean the animals and also the plants. For Malaysian batik, only plants and flower. However, we will always only include one animal, okay, which is butterfly theme. Okay, and yeah, like I informed to you before, we only use plants and flower motif. Okay, and there is an exception for butterfly pattern. Okay, why Malaysian batik only use plants and flowers pattern? Because we want to avoid the interpretation of human and animal images. Okay, why? Because of it is accordance to local Islamic doctrine. Okay, in which we cannot make any interpretation of human being and animal images in our design of clothes. Okay, so that's why we only focus on plants and flower pattern. Okay, so next, okay, Malaysian batik also famous for its geometrical design. Okay, meaning that they don't even have the plants, flower pattern or butterfly pattern. They have the geometrical design in which the design is abstract. Okay, it is also famous for this design. Okay, and what is the difference between Malaysian batik and Javanese batik? Okay, so let's see the next point. The pattern is larger and simpler, relying heavily on the brush painting method instead of chanting to apply color to fabric. Meaning that for Indonesian Javanese batik, their pattern is more larger. It is larger pattern, and then they are more emphasized on the brush painting method. Okay, for Malaysian batik, we will use the chanting in order to apply color. So that is the different. And then if we also compare to Javanese batik, Malaysian batik, it is lighter in color and more vibrant. Okay. For Indonesian batik, usually they will choose a dense color, the dark color, for example, brown, dark brown, or dark green. Okay, so for Indonesian batik, they will choose the dense color for their batik. However, Malaysian batik, we usually choose lighter color, okay, pastel color, and then the vibrant color. Yeah, in order, yeah, that is the identity of Malaysian batik. Right, so next. Okay, so this is the example of Malaysian batik. Okay, if you can see, this is only flowers and leaf patterns. Okay, and the color also very vibrant. Okay, light blue and then light pink and then green. So it is very colorful. Okay, for Malaysian batik, this is the traditional design of Malaysian batik. I will show you the modern design of Malaysian batik. Okay, so this is the modern design, in which this technique usually we will draw the pattern on the piece of cloth and then we will color it one by one. Okay, so this is modern design of Malaysian batik. Okay, this one is traditional design. Okay, so what is the function of batik? Why I really emphasize on how unique batik is. Okay, how is it represent our culture? Basically, batik, it is something that has been used in Malaysia despite of ethnic, okay, meaning that it's not only Malay who use batik, it is also Chinese, Indian, and other ethnic who use batik. Okay, so it is widely has been used from all Malaysians. Okay, and we will go into the function of batik. What is the function? Basically, batik can be worn for both gender. Okay, despite you are male or female. Okay, for men, it can be worn at dinner function, meaning that for male, you can use a batik shirt in order to go to formal function. Okay, if you can see the picture on your left, okay, this is the example of the batik shirt for the men. Okay, so this pattern are batik pattern. Okay, and it is usually yeah, it will be worn like this. Okay, for formal occasion. Okay, for women, okay, usually also we will worn it as formal dress. Okay, if you can see the picture in the middle, okay, this is the model who wear the formal dress of batik. Okay, she is wearing the batik pattern of clothes. Okay, and then they make the cutting into the baju kurung, which is baju kurung is Malaysian Malay traditional clothes. Okay, in which my colleague later will cover on this topic. Okay, and usually for modern batik, okay, we are using the traditional design of traditional batik. However, the pattern, okay, the way we fashion the clothing will be based on modernized work. Okay, sometimes the woman will make it into blouse, or sometimes they make it into baju kurung or any kind of clothing that they want based on the modern fashion. And then women also can use batik as traditional skirt. Okay, if you can see the picture on your right, okay, this woman, all of these women, they are wearing batik for their daily activities. Okay, actually, we use batik when we just stay at home. Okay, because it is convenient. We just wear it as a skirt and then you can pair it with your normal t-shirt or even baju kurung. Okay, so you can just wear it as the daily skirt, right? And then I will next introduce to you the types of batik, okay, in which I will introduce, actually batik don't have only one types, okay, I will show you different types in which they are different in the kind of how to make the pattern. Okay, so the types of batik here, actually how different it is to make the pattern on the cloth. Okay, so we will go one by one. First of all, I will introduce the batik block or the block printing batik. Okay, usually the block printing batik, we will use the block craft with pattern. Okay, usually the block crafted will be made from zinc or copper. So it is zinc and copper block in which on the surface it will craft with patterns, and then they will dip it into wax, and then they will stamp it on the fabric. Okay, so let's see the process here. I will show you the video. Okay, so that is the stamp made from zinc and copper. Okay, so this person already dipped the pattern into the wax, and then they will just stamp it on the cloth. Okay, so this person just stamp. Okay, and then they need to make sure that the pattern is mesh to each other, because they need to stamp it for several times, so they need to make sure that the pattern mesh to the next stamp. Okay, all right, so that is block printing batik. Okay, years ago, before this zinc or copper block exists, our people use potatoes in order to stamp it on the cloth. Okay, however, because they realize that the potato is easily spoiled, so they replace it with a zinc or copper block, which can stand longer compared to potato block. The next type of batik is batik screen or screen printing batik. Okay, for screen printing batik, it is the easiest type of batik in which they use stencil in order to draw the pattern on the cloth. Okay, it is faster and easier to do, but one must keep a keen eye so that the pattern mesh. Okay, this is similar to the block batik just now, in which it has the screen, and then they will need to mesh from one screen to the other screen to mesh the pattern. Okay, and then they will push the color on the stencil, and then they will move to the other part. Okay, so I will show you the video here. Okay, so the things that the frame that you see in the picture are actually the screen. Okay, it is a stencil. Okay, see, it is a stencil. It can be removed to go to the next cloth. Okay, and then there will be some dye on the top of it. So this person will be pushing the dye on the stencil. Okay, so that the stencil will be put the pattern on the cloth. Okay, so that is screen printing batik. Okay, this is the traditional one. Nowadays, most of the factories, they already use machine in order to do screen printing batik. Okay, so this is the traditional one. They are using the traditional screen. Okay, traditional stencil, and then they just push the dye on the screen. Okay, so that is how it has been made. Okay, next is the batik lukis, which is hand-drawn batik. Okay, this is the most famous one in Malaysia, and then it is also the most expensive one because it is the hand-drawn batik. Okay, the hand-drawn batik, usually we will use canting or the tool of brass. Okay, it looks like the pencil, however it is made from brass, and then we will put in the hot wax, in the melted wax, into the canting, and then we will just draw it on the cloth. Okay, so let's see the video here. Okay, so that is canting. Okay, in the canting, actually there is melted wax, so they will just draw the pattern. Okay, so canting is actually, it looks like the pencil, however there is melted wax in the canting. So you just draw the desired pattern from the melted wax. Okay, it looks very easy, however it is very, very hard. Okay, because the wax is easily become solid, so you need to be faster, or else it will block the canting pencil. Okay, so that is the leaf pattern. Okay, if you can see, this person is very fast. Okay, so that he can make sure that the wax is still melted, still in liquid. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is the final result of the hand-drawn batik. Okay, if you can see, this is what that person drawing. So this is the final result. Okay, why it's become white in color, the pattern? Because they already use the wax and then they put color. Okay, and then when they boil the cloth, the wax area will become white, the original color of the cloth. Okay, because it has been removed. And then next, the final type of batik is tie-dye batik. I think most of you will be familiar with tie-dye batik because I think nowadays we even have the tie-dye t-shirt, okay, in which you need to tie your clothes, okay, and then you dip it into colors, and then once you open the knot, okay, it will create like abstract pattern on the cloth. Okay, even batik we also have tie dye, or in Malay we call it as ikat celup. Okay, batik ikat celup. Okay, it is a method of dyeing fabric after knotting and or rubber banding it to produce interesting and irregular pattern. Okay, so you can see here, these are the clothes that they has been tied using a rubber band. Okay, so if you can see here, there are different pattern of knotting. Okay, this time the one that they color, they just tie it horizontally, and then the next is in circle. Okay, if you can see, it is in circle, and then the next one is in triangle. Okay, so that will identify what kind of pattern will be produced. Okay, so that's why they tie it in different form. Okay, so that they can create different pattern from the coloring process. Okay, so after they color, okay, they will dry it. They will dry it, and then next, okay, they will cut the tie. Okay, and then you can open the cloth, and then if you can see, there are patterns produced on the cloth. Okay, okay, this has been opened. Okay, so if you can see, there is like abstract patterns has been produced. So this is some of the different tie-dye batik, okay, with different pattern that how they tie the cloth, okay, will create different pattern. Okay, so next, okay, this is canting, okay, used for hand-drawn batik. Okay, this is, it looks like a pencil. However, this hole, we will put the melted wax into it. Okay, and then you just draw. Okay, so the final one, I will show you the whole process of making batik. Okay, for all types of batik. Okay, let's enjoy. how they make the dye using the leaf, and then they are making t-shirt and batik clothes based on uh, tie-dye technique. It is a block made from copper. We just dip it into the melted wax and then they just stamp it on clothes. So this is the block printing batik. So it is actually quite hard because they want to make sure that the pattern match each other. So that is the final one. They wash it. They put colors actually. They dip into colors and then they wash it. And then they boil it. And this is the boiling process to remove the wax. So that is the final product for block printing batik. Batik. This is what they do. This is the block. So the next part, we will cover on Malaysian traditional costume, in which it will be in charge by my colleague, Miss Nur Zanatul Amira. Let me pass it to my colleague, Miss Amira.
All right, thank you, Miss Farahin. Hi, everyone. Very good morning to all of you. All right, my name is Nur Zanatul Amira, and today I will talking about and sharing about Malaysian traditional costume. Right, next slide, please. All right, as you can see in the slide, Malaysian traditional costume is showing that we have the variety and diversity at its best. So Malaysia is a beautiful country with a diverse culture and also a rich history. So people will come from a different ethnic background and they have their own distinct sets of a traditional attire that reflect their culture. So we have a variety of culture and also we have a colorful of garment when talking about Malaysian culture. So the main communities of Malaysia are Malays, Chinese, and also Indian, and each of which has its own traditional clothes. So most Malaysians will dress like Westerners in nowadays, but it is mostly on a special occasion only that the citizens will wear this kind of traditional dress of Malaysia. So all the multi-ethnic traditional clothes of Malaysia are multicolored. And I wanted to share with you just how the varied and beautiful clothes in Malaysia that can be. So here are some of more common ethnic costume worn by Malaysia. All right, so the first and foremost is Malay, because Malay is the most prominent ethnic group in Malaysia, and we call costume, our costume is pakaian in Malaysian language, and pakaian is the word for clothing in the official language. So traditional dress is different for male and female, and is usually in bright and loud colors. Okay, so before the 20th century and the advent of Islam, Malay women they will wear kemban, which was a sarong that has been made from batik. Okay, and it is a long piece of cloth that was wrapped around the body and left the shoulder bare, which is from chest until knee. Okay, and the universal adoption of Islam as the main religion among Malays, and they saw that the demise of the Kemban and the rise of the more modest and yet elegant baju kurung. All right, so baju kurung comprise two parts. A blouse and also a skirt. So this baju kurung is for female. All right, and then the blouse is loose fitted and varies in length between hip and knee. All right. Traditionally, it also features a long sleeve, but modern design have shown off a three-quarter length with a bell, sleeve, and flare. So, like what I'm wearing now, I am wearing baju kurung from Batik, and then I'm wearing the modern baju kurung, which is three-quarter length of a sleeve. Okay. And for the skirt, it goes down to the ankle and has pleats on one side to facilitate walking and sitting. Okay, as you can see in the slide, they have a plate at the left side uh, in the picture. Okay, and the outfit can be made with traditional songket or batik fabric, or with a simple floral or batik design on cloth or any modern fabric blend. Okay, so to complete the outfit, the woman will usually wear a shawl, also known as a selendang or headscarf, like I'm wearing now. Okay, this is what we call tudung. All right, so this is for women. And then the traditional attire for Malay men is baju Melayu, as you can see in the slide. It consists of a uh, loose long sleeve top worn over trousers, and also a sampit, which is a short sarong that wrap around the hips. Okay, so to complete the look, the Malay man will wear a cap known as a songkok, and also as you can see in the slide, he wear a sandals that made from a leather, and apparently it is like a Japanese slipper. We call it as chapal. Okay, and then the next is Chinese costume. All right, so Chinese, it is like Chinese in China. Our costume is similar to Chinese in China. Okay, so the Chinese have adopt a comfortable yet elegant piece of traditional wear. They call it as cheongsam, which is also known as a long dress. So this is also a popular fashion choice for the modern day woman. And the cheongsam is often made of a shimmering silk with embroidered satin or other sensual fabric. And it is a one piece dress that has a high collar with a frog closure button. Okay, as you can see in the slide, there is a frog closure button, and the button is run down from the neck to the upper side of the chest. Okay, so it is a full length and form fitting dress with a tie high slit either on one or both side of the dress. Okay, so the cheongsam has moved with the times and now offers a shorter variation which are popular with the younger set. Okay, and for Chinese men's traditional costume is called changshan, while the Chinese woman traditional costume is called cheongsam. So this changshan is also known as changpao or dagua. So both changshan and cheongsam are normally made of silk material, and they have a slanting type of button on their costume. Okay, so changshan is similar to cheongsam. So for cheongsam, the button normally start near one side of the collar and ends at the chest. Okay, for Changsan, for the Changsan, the button are straight from the middle of the collar to the end of the Changsan. Okay, just like a normal shirt, but the difference is that their button are unique. There, and of course there are red color costume and are the most preferred in Chinese traditional occasion. All right, and then next we have for Indian we have a sari. Okay, so the sari is the most recognizable of traditional Indian wear. And the sari itself, it is 4 to 8 meters in the length and about 0.6 to 1.2 meters wide. Okay, so petticoat is worn underneath the sari with a matching or contrasting choli. They call their inner dress is a choli, which is tight and fitted with a blouse with or sometimes without the sleeve. Okay, so the whole sari is wrapped around the body and reaching just under the above the navel with the extensively embroidered or printed and draping over the left shoulder. Okay, so the breadth of the garment reach from the waist down to the floor and is tightly at the waist with a drawstring. Okay, and then the color of petticoat should match the base color of the sari and as closely as possible. So they will tie it closely as possible, and it function as a support garment to help hold the sari in place. So the woman from northern India, however, they will wear this salwar kameez. It is like a Punjabi and also known as a Punjabi suit. So it is a long dress like a sleeveless top that is worn over the trousers and matched with a shawl to complete the look. Okay, so this is sari for the woman. And then for the Indian men, traditionally they will wear a kurta and also trousers during their formal occasion. So the kurta is a long knee length shirt typically made of cotton or linen. Okay, so the kurta or the top is a knee-length colorless shirt, which is mostly white or pastel colors. Okay, but today you will find kurta made out of the most wonderful and colorful of fabrics, and there are mostly like pajamas. Okay, and their trousers also pajamas like trousers with a string tie at the waist and traditionally white in color. All right. And apart from the mentioned dominant communities, there are some minority communities residing in Malaysia as well. And this group also have the specific traditional dresses. And some of these are, next slide, please. We have a Peranakan. Okay, so Peranakan is also one of the culture in Malaysia, and this Peranakan are unique culture that began when Chinese immigrants began marrying into the local Malay community in many centuries ago, and there are also known as Baba Nyonas. Nyonyas, sorry. So Baba will refer to the man and also Nyonya will refer to the woman. All right. So for Nyonya, we have a Nyonya Kebaya as their traditional attire. So the Nyonya traditional attire, which is worn with a batik sarung as a skirt. So as you can see in the picture, these girls, they are wearing skirt uh, using a batik, okay, and the three kerosang or brooch holding the jacket close in a place. All right, so they have a three brooch uh, that using for their blouse, okay, and the woman also wear a pair of handmade beaded slippers. All right, so these handmade beaded slippers, they call it as kasut manik manik to complete the look. All right, so the traditional kasut manik manik is a pair of hand sewn slipper where glass beads are strung up and sewed onto the canvas, and it often features European floral design with a strong and Peranakan influence of color. Okay, uh, then you can see that we are using this batik in vibrant. All right, so the nyonya clothing consists of three layers, which are the inner wear. So they have the inner wear and also the outer jacket and also the sarong. Okay, as you can see in the slide, they have the inner wear. So in the inner wear, they are wearing like a singlet, and then the outer jacket is usually made of sheer materials like gauze cotton uh, or it is something like organza. Okay, so the inner wear is usually a traditional singlet. All right, they call as a choli also. So the jacket are extensively embroidered with emphasis at the collar sleeve and also the hems. All right. So the embroidery is usually done by hand, and also a machine that soon embroidery do not look as intricate as the hand sewed piece. All right. So the Nyonya Kebaya usually use a sarong with a batik Java design or Malaysian design. All right. And then we have a Baba costume. So the Baba will wear a baju lok chuan, which is similar to the Chinese men would wear. Others may prefer to wear a long sleeve shirt with a Chinese collar or just a batik shirt. Right? So that is Peranakan. And next we have culture in Sarawak. Right. Next slide, please. And there are many different culture in Sarawak. However, Iban is one of the most higher population in Sarawak, and the Iban are an indigenous community in Malaysia. They are known for their warrior-like outfit and wearing a colorful pattern cotton cloth called a puak kumbu. Okay, so as you can see that in the slide, for female costume, they call Marek Empang. All right. So for women, marik empang and kain kebat as their costume. So marik empang is a combination of beads and also hand stitched cotton decorative outer the garment. Okay, it is usually red in color. And Iban women, they required to wear marik empang at any occasion or festival. For example, like Gawai festival. Okay, so the ngajat, which is their traditional performance, or Iban dance performance by an Iban woman, they must wear this marik empang as part of the outer garment adorning her shoulder. All right, so kain kebat, which is a cloth pattern by the tie technique. Okay, so they wearing their kain kebat, they will tie it and hold it their body. All right, so normally the kain kebat is decorated with a colorful stripe pattern design, and it is made of cotton as well. And this kain kebat is narrow and its length is only about until knee. All right. So the Iban woman wear the dress consisting of kain kebat and marik emping, which is a chest abdomen, and they also have the sugu tinggi, which is their head dress or other silver ornaments such as coins, belt, and also they will wear a bangles. All right, so that is for Iban woman. And then we have traditional garments of Iban men is called kelambi and sirat. All right, there are two types of kelambi, which is sleeve and also sleeveless. All right, so for kelambi, they worn by a man, uh, they worn by a man Iban during certain ceremonies. And the cutting of Kelambi is very simple, which consists of a rectangular piece of cloth and they are folded double. And the loin cloth of is the garment is a greatly antiquity and is now distinctively ignored among the modern events. Okay, and this is a traditional cloth, but they are wearing using in Gawai celebration. All right, and then they have bark cloth is the original material of the loin cloth, and the way to tying a sirat is take a strip of material about 10 inch wide and 10 to 12 feet long. Okay, so at the end of the cloth is decorated with a beautiful embroidering or weaving. And this men traditional Iban costume, they wear a sirat with a very long loincloth around the waist and between the two stalk one end through the legs and uh, hanging in front, which is a dress like apron, and the other is around the waist. Sorry. So there should be a little tail. They call it as a eco sirat in Iban, and at the back. Okay, so the loin cloth they worn in this way is quite secure and will not fall off. All right, and furthermore they also wear accessories such as a belt, amulet, anklets made from silver, and the headgear, as you can see in the picture. um, the headgear is decorated with hornbill feather. All right, so it represents the uh, the spirit of the hornbill. All right, and then next we have kadazan dusun. Is the next slide, please. Right, we have kadazan dusun is the largest ethnic tribe in Sabah, and the women of this culture wear short shirt known as sinwanga and a wrap skirt called the tapi. So they have a batik scarf that is fitted with a him forgot belt. Okay, they have a belt that made out of a silver dollar coins, and they have the other gold jewelry as their accessory. Okay, and then the base material of the sinagoga is a black commercial fabric with a silk or velvet that used for commercial occasion. All right, and then we have for men we have traditional gown and salwar. So the gown is a long sleeve shirt with a gold trimming and buttons, and the salwar is a pair of long trousers that is worn with a waistband called the tugot. All right, and then there are gold trimming that run down the seam of the salwar, and the men also wear a cigar or a type of head dress, okay, on their head to complete the full look of the men attire. All right, and then the next is the last costume is bidayo. All right, next slide. All right, so the traditional bidayo costume set for women and comprises the short sleeve or sleeveless blouse. They call it as jomo skirt. All right, and the matching accessories such as selapai, which is sash, and also pangya, which is bed necklace, and also they are using porik, which is a metal belt, and also sipia as their head gear, right? And then the men will wear a tuwok or a tahub, which is a long coin or cloth that wrap around the body with one end hanging down in front of and the other at the back. All right. So the burung sambwa, which is the headgear, they call it as a burung sumba. Sorry, and occasionally the kima as their armlets. All right. So the bidayo vest is a sleeveless garment covering the upper body, and the sleeveless waist or hip length garment with a front opening and worn over a shirt or blouse or dress or other clothes for style. So very practical to wear during any function and celebration like gawai, officially meeting or dinner. So it is a bidayo identity and a must have for bidayo men. Like any fashion, the vest can also be worn by other community for its practically. All right, so the bidayo vest comes in black color cloth with a white and red stripe. So the color for bidayo community with a yellow will added to the stripe, and it makes the vest looks more vibrant to anyone who wears it. All right, so that's uh, the all for the Malaysian culture, and uh, we have a lot of different cultures and a lot of different costume in Malaysia. All right, and as for conclusion, I can say that Malaysia is the hub of traditions and culture, especially during festival. So the diverse range of communities with their specific traditional outfit makes the country this country unique, and it beautifully symbolizes oneness amongst the ethnic group by the virtues of mutual respect and acceptance of diversity. So a visitor in Malaysia will get to witness the beautiful and array of festivities and cultures quite often. So this increase the awareness and instills a sense of unity among the viewers. All right. So all Malays, Indians, and Chinese costume are unique in their own ways. So we can say that the costume one of the reason that makes Malaysia more into colorful. And just take a look at the different type of costume of the different religion, which with a different culture. Okay, all right. So it is the end of our topic, and I can say that it is good for you to learn other countries' culture and also art. You can know how to appreciate every aesthetic value in their culture. All right. Thank you very much for your attention, and we hope that you can gain new experience and also gain new knowledge in joining this program. And last word from us, please stay safe and stay healthy as always. All right. Thank you so much. And I will pass this session to our host.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Mira and Miss Farah. So, student, if you have any question, you can type in the chat box. So there's a question in the chat box.
Should I answer it orally, or I will just type the answer here in the chat box?
You can answer here.
Okay, is the batik style handed down or just designed by the craftsmen themselves? Actually, it is based on their creativity. Okay, they are the designer themselves. Okay, and sometimes usually one batik design will be exclusive to one batik produce only. Okay, because it is based on the designers or the crafter creativity. Yeah, it is exclusive design for each batik pattern. That compared to last time, will you still see lots of people wearing batik in your daily life? I think yes, because usually batik sarung, we will use it in our daily life because it is more comfortable, and the clothes, it is a type of clothes that is we will feel comfortable in wearing it. Okay, even my grandma and my mother and me as well, we wear batik sarung at home. Okay, for our daily life. Okay, even my traditional baju kurung also, there are a lot of batik pattern in it. Okay, and some of them made from cotton, some of them made from silk, and then they are still batik. Yeah, it is still quite a lot. And in Malaysia, actually, the government, Malaysian government, make it compulsory for all civil servants to wear batik on every Thursday, every week. Yes, for civil servant. Do you think the traditional costume will regain their vitality under the culture shock of the new era? Traditional costume. Maybe Miss Amira can answer.
All right. I think that we can still using this traditional costume in our new era, okay? Because in Malaysia also, every Friday we actually how to say, we actually ask uh, all of the Malaysian to wear our traditional costume to go to our works, to go to class, and to do our daily activities. Okay, so this is how we keep this traditional costume in this new era. And then in Malaysia also we have many festival that make us to wear this traditional costume and to ask us to keep this will and to regain this vitality uh, in this new era. Okay, so that is my question, and I think we can still use this traditional costume. And like what you saw me today, I'm still using this traditional costume to do the presentation and so on. All right, thank you. All right,
Mm,
any other question?
So I think student don't have any other question. Okay, so I will end this session now. So once again, thank you, Miss Farah and also Miss Mira for the exciting sharing session today. So I believe our students have learned a lot Malaysia culture from both of you. Okay, so once again, thank you very much. And also thank you, student who joined this session. So now all students, please kindly turn on the camera for the group photo session. Okay. Okay, so now I take the first page first. Okay, so can all students give me a thumbs up? Okay, so ready in 3, 2, 1. Okay, give me a second. Okay, now I'm going to page 2. So once again, give me a thumbs up. Okay, ready in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm going to page 3. Okay, so once again, give me a thumbs up. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Okay, done. Okay, so once again,